happy that Resident Evil 7 isn't a reboot of the Resident Evil series, mainly because I have invested a lot of myself into the Resident Evil series when it comes to basically every game in the franchise, aside from I think the Outbreak games I never played on PS2. Not sure why, but I've read into all of the lore of all the games, and I would hate for all that to go to waste with a new reboot. I know a reboot makes sense since the story of the Resident Evil has gotten so muddled and dumb, honestly, but it's sort of a part of its charm, in my opinion. And I know a lot of Resident Evil fans who agree. When you're on the outside of the Resident Evil fan base, you think, yeah, they need to go back to horror, they need to reboot it, they need different characters. But honestly, I don't want that personally. I have invested a lot of time into the characters. I'd hate for all of it to go to waste. It'd kind of be like, I don't know how many seasons of the TV show Friends there was, but let's say there's 10, and then in season 7 they decided to change all the characters and reboot the whole thing. That's sort of like what I'm getting at. I think if you've been there from the beginning, which I have been, I've played, like I said, almost all the Resident Evil games since I was 6 years old. I think I was 6 when the original Resident Evil came out, which is crazy to think about. But of course I went back and played it now that I'm older. You don't want it all to go to waste, and that's why I'm glad that they didn't reboot Resident Evil. But at the same time, maybe they did in a weird slide type of way. If you look at the logo, let's say it just says Resident Evil with a highlighted I and L at the end that turns it into a 7. I mean, obviously it's Resident Evil 7 and then Biohazard. But I think it was a smart way of them to show off that this is a new Resident Evil. They're not. If it was just the plain Resident Evil 7, then bam, to be a sequel, obviously, to the rest of the games in the series. But the way they did it, the way they made the 7 a part of the name, and then added Biohazard at the bottom, which is the Japanese title for the name. They added Biohazard at the bottom. They make it seem like it's a new thing, which I think is cool, honestly. I just hope that doesn't mean that they're getting rid of all of the past stuff that happened, or the characters, honestly. I'd love to see Claire return, and Leon, of course, all the originals. Please not Barry. Just put Barry in the ground. I can't stand Barry. I don't know why. They're always trying to make Barry a thing. Why was he in Revelations 2? Why do people care about him? I don't know. I hate Barry. I'm glad that they announced it's not a reboot, but I think that might be a way for them to keep their hardcore fans around. I mean, obviously they're going to stick around. It's Resident Evil if they love it, but I'm glad it's not a reboot. But at the same time, maybe it is. They already have weird ghost stuff in the demo if you've played it, and they said that demo isn't actually a part of the game. But I think it gives us a rough idea of how the gameplay is going to be. Do we know if it's going to be completely first person? I don't think so. I haven't read anything on it. I do know that a European trailer showed a camera behind the character's back, which may or may not be in third person. Could have been a cutscene. It could have been you walking behind a guy. I don't know. I hope it's in third person as well. I don't want all first person. I think it'd be cool if, how in Resident Evil 6, if you were walking down a hallway, I don't know if you remember this, but it would the camera would change to its fixed camera, it would in the old games. So I think it was a nice throwback. I think it'd be cool if they added fixed camera angles to this first person or third person new Resident Evil game. I'm not sure where the series is going next. All I know is I'm super excited. I love the Resident Evil 7 demo. I honestly love all the Resident Evil games. Some obviously more than others. You can check out my review of the latest games, latest ports actually, Resident Evil 6 and Resident Evil 5 on the PS4. I just released those on the channel. So yeah, I think Resident Evil should not be a reboot, but it might be, even if they say it isn't. All I'm saying is, if you're a fan like me and you've been there the whole time, you probably don't want it to be a reboot, because you've been there for all the stories, all the characters, you've read up on all the lore and all the unlockables that you can get. So if you're like me, let me know, leave a comment below, and I will talk to you guys later. quit trying to make Barry Burton a thing.